May we request Sheikh Ibrahim Ali, MP Sheikh Ibrahim Ali to lead us in the invocation. Okay.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Allahumma arinal haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'ah wa arinal batila batilan warzuqna ijtinabah ya Allah. Allahumma waffiqna lima tuhibbu wa tarda. Allahumma wali murana khiyarana wa la tuwali musyarrana ya Allah. Allahumma la taj'alid dunya akbar hamina wa la mablaghana. Allahumma ahina bil iman wa mitna bil iman. Allahumma inna nas'aluka al-jannah wa ma yuqarribuna ilaiha min qawlin wa fi'lin wa 'amalin. Wa na'udzubika minan nar wa ma yuqarribuna ilaiha min qawlin wa fi'lin wa 'amalin ya Allah. Allahumma rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina 'adzaban nar. Sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam birahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Floor leader, what is your pleasure for today?
Yes, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To the Honorable Speaker, Attorney Pangalian Balindong, to the Presiding Officer, Deputy Speaker, Attorney Omar Sema, Deputy Speakers, floor leaders, members of the Parliament, guests, Secretariat, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, we deferred consideration of Committee Report number 88, submitted by the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education and the Committee on Bangsamoro Justice System, Mr. Speaker. The parliamentary status is we are about to continue with the period of interpellation, Mr. Speaker. May we recognize, Mr. Speaker, and I move to recognize the Committee Chair of the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education, MP Eddie Ali.
The chair of the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education is recognized. You may now take the rostrum. Who are the interpellators, floor leader?
Mr. Speaker, yesterday there were two members who wanted to interpellate. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, we cannot see them in the hall. I therefore move to terminate the period of interpellation and debate.
There's now a motion coming from the floor to terminate the period of interpellation on Committee Report number 88. It's been seconded. Hearing no objection, the period of interpellation is terminated.
Mr. Speaker, 1 minute suspension.
1 minute suspension.
that we open the period of amendments.
There's now a motion from the floor leader to open the period of amendment. Any second? Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
I move that we recognize MP Bayintan Ampatuan. Mr.
The lady from Maguindanao del Sur is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Floor Leader. I think this is not an outright amendment, but based on the deliberation yesterday, we pointed out 3 laws that are significant and has bearing on the claim or our supporting laws with regards to the powers and functions granted to the Mindanao State University. And we will request the Secretariat to go back to that discussion and call out the 3 laws that were cited yesterday. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary, take note of the presence of the Minister of Health, Dr. Sinolinding.
Mr. Speaker, the amendment proposed by MP Bayintan are accepted. Is accepted, Mr. Chair. Mr. Secretary.
Secretary, take note.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize MP Jamila Ramos.
The lady from the Special Geographic Area and Lanao del Sur is recognized. Secretary, let me reiterate, take note of the attendance of Doc Joe Sinolinding.
Mr. Speaker, bakit lang daw si MP Minister Sinolinding maraming dumating na ba kan?
I think from on record, lahat po tayo present tayo kahapon. Oh, ito. And MP Baileng Manta will also take note of his presence. Who else was not present yesterday on record? MP Sani Munoz is also present today. And MP Said Salendab. Or
Mr. Chair,
you may proceed.
yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I wasn't able to interpolate, but my proposed amendments had been flashed in the screen. I would like to ask our proponent if he's amenable with the first proposed amendment, Mr. Speaker, just to give a background on this proposed amendment. Ito po ay inihain natin dahil una gusto nating i-establish na merong na-produce na po ang Mindanao State University ng mga lawyers, and in fact they were even recognized by the left mismo as posted in their page, Mr. Speaker. Unfortunately, that post of recognition has been taken down now. So that is why we want to put it on record, Mr. Speaker, about this recognition of that we have produced by the MSU College of Law, Mr. Speaker. If I may read, Mr. Speaker, the proposed amendment says, in fact, the LEB's report on the 10-year performance of legal education institutions in bar examinations in 2011 to 2020 reveals that the MSU College of Law is the leading law school in the bar, having produced 422 lawyers during this period, Mr. Speaker.
Accepted, Mr. Speaker. The amendment is accepted.
Secretary, take note.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I I also have this second proposed amendment, Mr. Speaker, supporting the stand of the MSU College of Law, asserting its independence from the jurisdiction of the LEB and its cease and desist order, emphasizing that according to Section 6 of Republic Act number 1387 as amended, the authority over the operation and administration of the college lies solely with the Board of Regents. Established in 1981, 12 years before the enactment of the Legal Education Reform Act,
11.
MSU contends that it was never subject to the supervision of the DEX and does not fall under the purview of the LEB, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, the amendment is accepted, but I suppose it is not after well as 19. There are only 11 well asses. So we leave it to the Secretariat to place well it is supposedly, Mr. Speaker. Wala po na 19. Ang ibig sabihin, kasi 11 lang po ang well asses.
Mr.
1 minute suspension, Secretariat. Please check.
After 9 well as, not 19. And
Yes,
I
Mr.
think
Speaker.
it's topographical,
It's
Mr. Speaker.
typographical error, Mr.
Yeah.
Speaker.
The chair takes note of that. Secretariat, please take note also.
I have my last proposal, Mr. Speaker. It says in the proposal an additional phrase which says, whereas the MSU College of Law's dedication to addressing the unique challenges and needs of the region ensures that its graduates are equipped with comprehensive legal that are intimately attuned to the values and aspirations of the Bangsamoro people they will serve. Mr. Speaker, naisama po natin ito bilang proposed amendment natin dahil gusto po natin makita no yung impact ng kapag nawala itong ang impact ng pagkakaroon ng legal education offered by the MSU, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, accepted with counter proposal. After legal, mayroon pong education to be inserted, ang education. Paki-ano po, ulit, paki-zoom, okay? Then, after its continued operation, it is, ang counter proposal is remove the word is of paramount importance. Diretso na po of producing competent legal professionals who possess, diretso na po. So, para hindi magiging redundant ang phrase. Tanggalin na po ang is of paramount importance, these lawyers. At saka pagdating sa last line, play a critical role in ensuring the stability and governance, we delete in legal integrity of BARM. Alisin na po yung legal integrity, play a critical role in ensuring the stability and governance of BARM. Yun lang po, accepted po lahat with yan, yung the third proposed amendment is with counter amendment po.
I accept the counter proposal, Mr. Speaker, and again, I wish to express my strong support to this resolution on the issue between the Mindanao State University and the Legal Education Board. And I hope, Mr. Speaker, that beyond the legalities ay mangibabaw po ay ang kapakanan ng ating mga mamamayan at ang potensyal ng Mindanao State University na makapag-produce ng mga law graduates na ipagtatanggol ang hustisya, lalong-lalo na po ang karapatan ng ating mga kababayang nangangailangan sa Bangsamoro, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, nagpapasalamat din po ang committee sa mga amendments na suggested by MP Jamila Ramos. Maraming salamat po, Sis.
Floor Leader, 1 minute suspension. Sadness to break this news that former Congressman Attorney Bangkit Lanto has passed away. May we request a minute of silence? Former Congressman Bangkit Lanto has passed away. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Floor Leader, we will resume.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now move to terminate the period of amendment.
Yes, there's now a motion coming from the floor to terminate the period of amendment. Any second? There being no objection, the motion is approved. The period of amendment is now terminated.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve proposed resolution number 633 as amended and subject to style, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion from the floor to approve proposed resolution number 63 embodied in committee report number 88. Any second? There being no objection, the motion is approved. The proposed resolution is approved subject to style.
Next, Mr. Speaker, is committee report number 89 submitted by the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education in relation to proposed resolution number 24 entitled a resolution urging the Office of the Chief Minister OCM and the Ministry of Basic, Higher and Technical Education MBHTE to devise a mechanism that will incentivize families with at least 3 high school and or college students in order to ensure the completion of the students' schooling. Authored by MP Bayintan A. Ampatuan, co-authored by MPs Amil Bahar Mawalil, Liza Alamia, Suharto Ambuludto, Rasul Mitmog Jr., Don Mustafa Loong, Rasul Ismael, Ibrahim Ali, Harun Abbas, Suaib Oranon, Siti Fahani S. Uyoyod, Basir Utto, Ahmad Abbas, Basit Abbas, Hatimil Hassan, Ali Salik, Kadir Sunulinding Jr., Noreda Miswari, Abdul Karim Miswari, Ali Sanki, Abdul Wahab Pak, Mujib Abu, Jafar Apollo Mikael Matalam, and Randolph Parcasio. Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the chair of the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education to render the report.
The chair of the said committee is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Madam Floor Leader. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin. Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Mr. Speaker, the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education, to which was referred, proposed resolution number 24, introduced by MP Engineer Bayintan Ampatuan, entitled, a resolution urging the Office of the Chief Minister, OCM, and the Ministry of Basic, Higher and Technical Education, MBHTE, to devise a mechanism that will incentivize families with at least 3 high school and or college students in order to ensure the completion of their students' schooling. Upon deliberation of the Committee on Basic Higher and Technical Education on its meeting last 17th Muharram 1446 AH or 23 July 2024, the committee is respectfully recommending that the proposed resolution be approved without amendments. Respectfully submitted by the chair, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt committee report number 89 for deliberation.
Here's a motion from the floor to adopt committee report number 89 for deliberation, and a second. Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move to open the period of interpellation.
The period of interpellation is now open.
I move to recognize MP Jamila Ramos.
The lady from the SGA and Lana del Sur is recognized.
Sige.
Ang problema ito, wala akong copy.
Wala kang
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Meron lang po akong klarifikasyon patungkol po sa resolution na ito. Bagamat ako po ay suportado dito, malaking bagay po ito kung ito ay maaprubahan natin sa plenaryo, lalo na't ito ay nagbibigay ng suporta sa edukasyon sa ating mga mag-aaral sa BARM. Mr. Speaker, gusto ko lang klaruhin kung ang magiging target ba na beneficiaries natin dito ay lahat ng mga mag-aaral sa pribado at sa publiko pati sa pribadong paaralan, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, may I refer to the primary author, MP Engineer Bagintan Ampatuan, to respond to the clarification, Mr. Speaker. Nakalusot.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Am I recognized, Mr. Speaker? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Basically, the intention of the resolution is to help the poor families in order for their children to finish their schooling. As to the question of whether it includes public and private, when we talk about the needs, the priorities are those in need, specifically those poor families. So in the current setup or in the current situation that we have right now, most of the well-off families send their children to private schools. But we leave it to the Ministry of Basic Higher and Technical Education as to what criteria they will put in order to ensure that they can prioritize the needy families or the poor families.
Ibig sabihin po, Mr. Speaker, ito po ay magiging bukas both in public and private schools. Basta po ang target na mag-aaral natin ay yung mga nasa may hirap na mga pamilya, Mr. Speaker. Tama po ba ito?
Tama.
Kung ito po ay tama, Mr. Speaker, I think maganda po na maklaro natin ito sa resolution kung kaya't ako po ay magbumungkahi ng aking proposed amendment para magbigay linaw po para dito.
Mr. Speaker, we would appreciate it, Mr. Speaker, at the time sa period ng amendment po. Ipa-picture.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we terminate the period of interpellation.
There's a motion from the floor leader to terminate the period of interpellation. It's been seconded. The motion is approved.
I move that we open the period of amendment, Mr. Speaker.
There's now a motion to open the period of amendment.
I move that we recognize MP.
Any second? Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
I move that we recognize MP Ramos, Mr. Speaker.
From the SGA is recognized once again.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Floor Leader, I would like to propose an amendment to insert a whereas clause between the 9th and the 10th whereas clause. And can you flash it in the screen, the picture? Ayan. Mr. Speaker, my proposed amendment is read as this: whereas the incentive mechanism shall be limited to families with at least 3 high school and or college students enrolled in public and private institutions within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, ensuring that assistance is directed towards those families who face significant financial challenges in supporting multiple children in their educational pursuits. So that's in public and private institutions, Mr. Speaker.
Na-take note niyo yung ano, public and private. Okay. Mr. Speaker, the proposed amendment is accepted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary, take note.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we terminate the period of amendment.
The period of amendment is now terminated.
I move that we approve proposed resolution number 24 as embodied in committee report number 89 as amended, Mr. Speaker.
Any second? Hearing no objection, the motion of the floor to approve proposed resolution number number 24. Number 24, embodied in committee report number 89 is approved, subject to style.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Next is committee report number 90, also submitted by the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education in relation to proposed resolution number 104, entitled A Resolution Urging All Educational Institutions within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao to exempt Muslim students from joining tasks with prohibited acts in Islam in their physical education classes and assign different tasks instead. Authored by Member of the Parliament Abdullah B. Hashim and co-authored by members of the Parliament by Maleha Candao, Michael Midtimbang, Susana Anayatin, Don Mustafa Loong, Aida Silongan, Hatimil Hassan, Tawakal Midtimbang, Abdul Karim Miswari, Suharto Ismael, Marjani Makasalong, Abdulaziz Aminuddin, Mosber Alauddin, Abdullah Makapaar, Basir Uto, Basit Abbas, Dan Martin Kahalan, Dan Asnawi, Randolph Parcasio, Nureda Miswari, Eddie Ali, Kadil Sinolinding Jr., Ibrahim Ali, Hussein Munoz, Muslimin Drakilan, Hashimi Dilangalen, Ahmad Abbas, Haron Abbas, Faisal Karon, Hamid Malik, Abdul Wahab Pak, Mujib Abu, Bayintan ng Patuan, Muhammad Kelly Antaw, Tarhata Maglangit, Jaafar Apollo Mikael Matalam, Ali Salik, and Said M. Sheikh. Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Chair of the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education, MV Eddie Ali, to render the report.
The chair of the said committee is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Madam Floor Leader. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi asma'in. Amma ba'd. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Mr. Speaker, the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education, to which was referred proposed resolution number 104, introduced by MP Abdullah B. Hashim, entitled A Resolution Urging All Educational Institutions within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao to exempt practicing Muslim students from joining tasks with prohibited acts in Islam in their physical education classes and assign different tasks instead. Upon deliberation of the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education on its meeting last 17th Muharram 1446, 23 July 2024, the committee is respectfully recommending that the proposed resolution be approved with the following proposed amendments. One, in the title and final resolve clause, the word practicing shall be deleted to read as a resolution urging all educational institutions within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao to exempt Muslim students from joining tasks with prohibited acts in Islam in their physical education classes and assign different tasks instead. Resolved as it is hereby resolved by the Bangsamoro Transition Authority to urge all educational institutions within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao to exempt Muslim students from joining tasks with prohibited acts in Islam in their physical education classes and assign different tasks instead. Respectfully submitted by the chair to this parliament, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt committee report number 90 for deliberation.
There is a motion from the floor to adopt committee report number 90 for deliberation. It's been seconded. The motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker,
1 minute, 10 minutes suspension.
yes, Mr. Speaker.
Maximum of 10, minimum of 10, maximum of 15. Session is suspended. Floor Leader, what's your pleasure?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, before we resume, we would like to acknowledge the presence of and welcome to the Parliament the newly installed Regional Director of the Philippine National Police Regional Office BAR, Police Brigadier General Romeo Macapas.
Welcome, sir.
The Regional Intelligence Division of ProBAR, Police Colonel Kerubin L. Manalang Jr., the Regional Operations Division ProBAR, Police Colonel Jibin Bongkayaw, and the officer in charge for the Cotabato City Police Office, Police Colonel Michael John Mangahis.
Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome to the Bangsamoro Parliament. It is our pleasure to, we are honored with your presence, and it is our pleasure to accept you as our guests for today's session. In behalf of the Speaker of the Parliament, we welcome you.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we, for a 1-minute suspension for photo opportunity.
1 minute suspension for photo opportunity. Session resumes. Floor Leader, we continue deliberating committee report number 90.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, but before that, we would like to also welcome in the viewing deck in the gallery our visitors from Al-Kalam Institute for Islamic Identities and Dialogue in Southeast Asia from the Ateneo de Davao University. We are honored to welcome Kenny Lloyd Angon, Deputy Executive Director. Harleen L. Ugmad, Administrative Associate. And Alia K. Umar, Global Intern from Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, Indonesia.
Welcome. Welcome to the Bangsamoro Parliament.
Also, Mr. Speaker, we have visitors who are members of the Bangsamoro documentary team. We would like to welcome VJ Villafranca, Malay Javier, JC Valencia, Tio Lozada, Dempster Samarista, Omar Ali, Abu Sayed Simpal, and Faisal Kamsa from the Bangsamoro Information Office.
Welcome.
So,
Floor leader, we resume.
okay, so they are the ones holding cameras and documenting us at the moment. Be at your best behavior. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we continue with the committee report number 90, and I would like to move that we recognize MP Amir Mawalil, who would like to interpolate, Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman from Tawi-Tawi is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask some clarificatory questions about this resolution, particularly on the enumerated subjects. I think the title tells us that there are attribution as to the prohibited acts in Islam. May we be clarified on these particular prohibited acts?
Mr. Speaker, can
Yes, you may proceed.
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, during the committee meeting, the principal author, MP Abdullah Hashim, mentioned some activities under physical education that are to him is prohibited acts in Islam. This includes, for example, dancing, playing basketball in short pants, both men and women. So these are some, no? And I think the members of the parliament who are learned in Islam know about this, the prohibited acts, no? That are taught or asked by the teachers during the physical education classes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So the enumerated list of these attributed acts are indicated in the resolution. Pero babalikan ko po, meron din pong nakalagay dito that the primary, secondary, and higher education curriculum covers physical education classes. That includes tasks such as singing, dancing, and involving music. So that means, Mr. Speaker, that these physical education activities are created via a curriculum coming from the regional office. Is this from the regional office, or is this the standard curriculum that were downloaded from the National Education Department?
I suppose, Mr. Speaker, these activities, while I'm not sure, if there is a national or regional memoranda on specifying all these activities. But the point, Mr. Speaker, what is observed, no, even in higher education, in secondary and elementary, okay, we pass all this. In fact, during our time, we dance, we sing, and so on, okay? But it has evolved, no? Education has evolved in such a way, especially in our homeland, to give emphasis, to give importance, to consider our own practice of all religion. That's why I was before we started, I asked some of the ulama here, and I told them that these are we observe this, and this said, strictly speaking, singing, for example, is not allowed in Islam. Okay. That's why I think we came up with this resolution as a suggestion form to heads of schools, no? As much as possible, we ask them to refrain from allowing our Muslim students from engaging in singing and other activities. And I suppose also, Mr. Speaker, in the period of amendment, they are going to add a whereas where MBHT, which covers already the basic higher technical and higher education, no, to come up with guidelines, at least to for the head of schools and even supervisors and principals to be guided with the directive from the MBHT. In the period of amendment that will come up.
I understand. Thank you for that explanation. Kaya po tanong ko to because is it really the solution for this dilemma to exempt students from certain activities, or parang binabasa ko pa as a student of public administration, public management, baka po policy issue ito, policy problem. Kasi for how many years now, part po ako ng subcommittee ng finance on nakasama yung MBHT, paulit-ulit po nating sinasabi doon that in fact natanong natin sila kung independent ba yung mga systems yung mga policies natin sa education sector with that of the national. Sinasabi natin lagi that we are a subsystem of the national education. So kung yung standard po na binababa galing sa taas, ito yung gawin yung physical education activities, baka po maalanganin yung mga teacher natin kasi at the end of the day, kailangan i-measure yung performance ng mga teachers natin based dun sa curriculum na pinababa ng region. So kung tingin po natin, kailangan natin ng context-based na approach pagdating sa physical education, baka po it's more than exempting the students from conducting certain activities that we perceive to be as un-Islamic. Baka po yun yung kwan natin. And para dun din po sa context, I grew up in Tawi-Tawi. I finished my primary and secondary education in public school in ARM. So alam ko po yung kwans. Karamihan po ng students doon are Muslims. Siguro merong panaka-naka sa isang grade or sa isang year na merong isang non-Muslim. But my point is, kung yung mga schools na to i-exempt sila, we have to provide a separate, yung sinasabi natin, assign them to other tasks. What are these other tasks na sinasabi natin? Kasi kailangan pa rin po i-approve ng regional or ng national yung curriculum na gagawin natin. Tama po ba ako?
Let me speak on what are the activities to be carried out by the school, no? I suppose also that the teacher has perhaps the prerogative, no? If the activity is considered Islamic, then what we are suggesting, can they come up with something which is Islamic? I just would like to give you an example. Let's say playing volleyball is Islamic. Okay? But if you play in a short pan, nakikita po natin yan, maski sa national game, talagang halos nakalabas talaga ang paa, masyado, no? Na which to us is already un-Islamic. But in other Muslim countries, they play basketball, pero hindi po sila naka-short pan. So yung mga ganong, siguro yung mga ganong paraan, kung paano natin pwede maglaro, pero dapat ganito naman. Okay. So I understand, Mr. Speaker, yung punto ng ating interpolator. So I would say, Mr. Speaker, that we leave it up to the faculty, in fact, no, to the teacher concerned, kung anong dapat ipagawa sa bata na hindi naman mababawasan yung activity, pero na-attune po doon sa Islamic activities. Yan lang po, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, for the record, I support the initiative. Medyo may disagreement lang doon sa approach, especially that na medyo yung pagkaka-coin ng language ng title medyo hindi siya hindi naman siya inclusive, but medyo may problema tayo doon kasi sinasabi natin dito na ipaubayan natin sa mga teachers yung prerogative. Pero at the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, meron po tayong sinusunod na curriculum sa taas. Regardless kung physical education man yan or mga subjects like math or English, I believe meron pong standard na sinusunod. So kung gusto po natin mag-insist doon or gusto natin mag-introduce ng changes na gawing context-based at saka may nuance yung mga programs on physical education, bakit po hindi natin gawin dito sa MBHT where we can ask the Ministry of Basic, Higher and Technical Education to review yung curriculum nila with regard to physical education. Ano po ba yung pwedeng i-tweak based doon sa context natin sa bar na hindi masasacrifice yung pangkalahatan? Kasi sinasabi natin subsistent tayo ng National Education Framework. So yun lang po sana yung kwan ko. Kasi kung ang atake po natin dito ay sililib natin sa mga teachers, hindi natin ma-institutionalize yung Madam Chair. Kumbaga, parang whimsical na lang kung anong tingin ng teacher na gawin nyo to. But we have an opportunity here to introduce change, to introduce reforms, or to introduce inclusivity. Ito nga yung gusto kong i-language yung title na baka pwedeng urging the MBHT to review their curriculum on physical education to allow in the end goal of having an inclusive education framework, something like that, Mr. Speaker. Yun lang yung kwan ko kasi medyo yung to exempt, paano po yung saan sila pupunta after that kung ibibigay natin sa mga teacher nila yung prerogative kung ano yung pwede lang gawin in lieu of doon sa mga hindi nila pwedeng gawin na sinasabi natin un-Islamic. Yun po yung medyo concern ako doon. I understand sinabi natin kanina na guidelines, pero baka hindi po enough yung guidelines lang. It has to be the curriculum itself yung kailangan nating i-revisit, i-review para magkaroon tayo ng appreciation kung paano natin i-address yung problema na to, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, the proponent is open to amendment, no? As mentioned, even sa title po na dapat kailangan i-language in such a way that it can accommodate inclusivity. So, Mr. Speaker, the chair is open to any amendment during the period of amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My last question, Mr. Speaker, is medyo kailangan ko lang doon sa budgetary. Meron po bang budgetary requirement yung implementation nitong? Kasi I assume kung i-divert natin yung ibang activities towards other activities na tingin natin mas more Islamic, meron po ba tayong nakikitang budgetary requirements dito?
Wala po, no? In having the activities even without this resolution, as experience, no? As experience po natin from elementary, secondary up to higher education, unless ang requirement po halimbawa kailangan mo mag-uniforme ng PE, ng physical education uniform. Yun, but there is no funding for this purpose po.
Yes, just a quick manifestation. I would like to manifest that this body would look at the curriculum of the MBHT that are being implemented by the MBHT so that we can be guided on what are the measures that we can do to address certain gaps and problems in the education sector of the Bangsamoro region. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, next to interpolate is Deputy Speaker Attorney Liza Alamia.
The lady from Basilan is recognized.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and Madam Floor Leader. If the sponsor is willing to respond to some clarificatory questions, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I'm willing to respond to some clarificatory questions, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Taking off from the prior interpellation by MP Amir Mawalil, Mr. Speaker, the resolution is targeted on the educational institutions within the BARM to exempt students, Muslim students, from joining tasks which are prohibited acts in Islam. And the way that the resolution is drafted is focused on what the Quran and what the Islamic ruling is on music and singing based on the different madhabs. So it goes into the realm of Sharia law, Mr. Speaker. Is this a correct observation, Mr. Sponsor?
That's right, Mr. Speaker.
So considering that this is, as we already know, Mr. Speaker, Sharia is the path to a watering hole, and it's a guidance directly from the primary sources of law, Islamic law. While in this resolution, what we are doing is combining Sharia with law because we are a parliament. And so we are entering the realm of Sharia law, which is an interpretation of what Sharia is. Am I still correct in this assumption, Mr. Speaker?
You are right, Mr. Speaker. But I would like to add that that we also have the personal law, no? Muslim personal law. Okay, and why we say that na nahalo po dito ang Sharia because Islam is a way of life. Okay, it includes our social activities, including education. So in context, while we speak of education, we try to integrate something Islamic in our educational system, even in the physical education aspect. Yun lang po, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you for that response, Mr. Speaker. I agree in principle with the intent of the resolution, and that is to exempt Muslim students, those who profess the Islamic religion, from taking part in activities that would violate our beliefs with respect to Islam, and most specifically on modesty, the wearing of the hijab, and the not showing the awrat. Considering that this pertains to, as mentioned by the prior MP Amir Mawalil, to a curriculum of these educational institutions, Mr. Speaker, that pertains to physical education and activities that are being done by the public schools and other institutions. This may also affect then, for example, the cultural practices of Muslims. So just to give an example, like those in the islands, they dance the pangalay the Tausugs and the Sama Bangingi, the Sama community. I know that in Maguindanao, in Lanao del Sur, there's also the traditional cultural dances that are being done by Muslims based on their culture, the specific tribe. And this may also affect that, Mr. Speaker. So considering the curriculum that is part of the MBHTS program under there's a basic education code and there's a module and a curriculum that is being followed, wouldn't it be more appropriate then to urge or suggest that it is the curriculum that should be modified somehow to make sure that we are not violating any Islamic rules, even in the practice of the cultural dances and the cultural singing, which may also include even the singing of the national anthem and the singing of the Barm hymn. So these are all, if we take into consideration the entire Sharia context and Sharia law, vis-a-vis Sharia law, we would have to take that into consideration. If the proponent would like to agree, Mr. Speaker, would the proponent yield to the suggestion that we refer back this resolution to the committee and also to the committee on, so this is in the Committee on Education, to discuss this with the MPHTE and
Justice.
and also the Darul Ifta, the Bangsamoro Darul Ifta, to be able to come up with modifications of the curriculum, or at least revise the resolution to be an urging of the MBHTE to revise its curriculum, to review its curriculum and revise the curriculum to conform to the Islamic ideals that we are talking about here. Would the proponent be open to that?
Mr. Speaker, the proponent is open to that suggestion. In fact, I agree with the observation, even with us here in the Parliament. When we sing the national anthem, I sing, while some of us do not sing, because perhaps I said to myself, because Islam does not allow us to sing. But I sing because, the speaker says, stand up for the singing of the national anthem. So we'll ask the speaker to stand up and sing the national anthem.
And
so
the Barm hymn.
And the Bangsamoro hymn.
And the Barm hymn.
In compliance also to the order of the speaker. So, but Mr. Speaker, I yield to the suggestion of the interpolator to refer this back to the committee, and even I think we have to get some resource persons from the MBHTE, Darul Ifta, and even from the Committee on Justice System, something like that. So I yield, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think considering that is already approved, I leave it to the floor leader to do the proper referral. Thank you very much, Mr. Proponent and Mr. Speaker and the floor leader. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, interpolator. Wala pa. Nagpasalamat lang ako sa pag-interpolate.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we refer the committee report back to the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education.
Yes, we defer consideration and refer it back to the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education. Any second? Having been seconded, hearing no objection, the motion is approved. We defer consideration to refer back this proposed resolution to the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The last committee report in the order of business is Committee Report number 91, submitted by the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education in relation to the proposed resolution number 157, entitled A Resolution Urging the Ministry of Basic, Higher and Technical Education, Madaris Education, to establish a madrasa database management system authored by members of the Parliament Abdullah Gayak, Romeo Sema, and Eddie Ali, co-authored by members of the Parliament Dan Asnawi, Basit Abbas, Abdulaziz Amenuden, Muhammad Kelly Antao, Mosber Alauddin, Ibrahim Ali, Jaafar Apollo Micael Matalam, Don Mustafa Loong, Kadil Sinulinding Jr., Hashemi Dilangalen, Susana Anayatin, Benjamin Loong, and Ali Salik. Mr. Speaker, I move that we once again recognize MP Eddie Ali to render the report.
The gentleman from Tawi-Tawi is recognized.
Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajmain, amma ba'd. Before I will render my report on committee report number 91, Mr. Speaker, allow me to manifest that I forgot this yesterday, that MP Ali Muntaha Babaw be included as co-author of BTA resolution number, the one yesterday. No? Tungkol dun sa MSU, Mr. Speaker, the inclusion of MP Ali Babaw as co-author.
Take note.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education, to which was referred proposed resolution number 157, introduced by MP Abdullah Gayak, MP Romeo Sema, and myself, entitled A Resolution Urging the Ministry of Basic, Higher and Technical Education, Madaris Education, to establish a Madrasa Database Management System. Upon deliberation of the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education on its meeting last 17th Muharram 1446, 23 July 2024, the committee is respectfully recommending that this proposed resolution be approved without amendments. Respectfully submitted by the chair, Mr. Speaker.
Floor leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt committee report number 91 for deliberation.
Move from the floor leader to adopt committee report number 91 for deliberation, and a second. Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize MP Ali Muntaha Babaw.
What is the concern of the gentleman from
Just
Lagos?
correct the statement of MP, the gentleman from Tawi-Tawi, by asking that I be co-author of a specific resolution. I would like to clarify or to inform the speaker that it is this refers to the proposed resolution number 633. Mr. Speaker. It is about the resolution expressing support.
Yeah, duly noted, we already
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, because I hear that there was a misrepresentation of the particular resolution.
No, it's
I just want to correct.
no, it's on MSU.
yeah,
Resolution on
he
MSU.
practically stated MSU a while.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Floor leader, we are now in the period of interpellation. Can
Yes,
you please
Mr.
open
Speaker,
it?
I move that we open the period of interpellation and debate.
There's a motion from the floor to open the period of interpellation, and a second. Hearing no objection, we will proceed with the period of interpellation.
We have a lone interpellator in the person of MP Jamila Ramos. Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize MP Ramos.
Yes, the lady from the SGA and Lanao del Sur is recognized.
And also Maguindanao, Mr. Speaker, para kompleto.
And Maguindanao.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Gusto ko lang pong mabigyan ng kalinawan. Kaya ako po ay may ilang katanungan. Although ako po ay supportive sa resolution na ito. Ito ay yung pag-establish ng Madrasa Database Management System. Mr. Speaker, gusto kong tanungin ang ating butihing proponent, ano po ang nagtulak sa kanya para i-file itong resolution na ito, Mr. Speaker?
I just would like, Mr. Speaker, to bring back the interpolator. When we started even in BTA 1, mayroon pong mga assistance binibigay ang mga members ng parliament sa mga madrasa. Nagkataon po kung sino-sino mga madrasa na humingi sa amin ng tulong, including yung one-time cash assistance to students, to pupils and teachers. Meron po yun. So kung sino po ang nag-submit sa amin ng request for assistance, ay sinama po namin doon sa request. Nagkataon, kasi at that time, at hanggat ngayon, wala pa pong database, nagkataon when we submitted our request for financial assistance, ilan sa mga, just for my case, and this was experienced by those from Basilan, I don't know, here in Maguindanao and Lanao, but for us in the Basulta, nagkataon po, ilan lang ang naprubahan. Kasi yung mga ibang supposed beneficiaries namin to receive the assistance ay hindi po sila accredited ng MBHTE. There are requests from madrasa who are not accredited. Ang ibig sabihin, wala po silang permit to operate from MBHTE. So kaya ngayon, gusto namin magkaroon, hindi lang po ito, the database is not only for those madrasa who are or which are accredited, maski hindi. So that, kung alam natin na itong mga madrasa na to ay hindi sila accredited, then we can ask them if they wish to be accredited so that they can receive assistance from government, from the Bangsamoro government, then they should secure a permit to operate. Yun po, yung mga sitwasyon na yan ang tumulak po sa amin na MP Gayak, ako, no, at si MP Romeo Sema kung bakit namin na-file ito. Actually, matagal na po ito na dapat na-file. Kung makikita po ninyo doon sa numero, itong resolution na to is anong number to? 157. Siguro mga ilang hundreds na tayo ngayon. So yun po, Mr. Speaker, ang naging dahilan kung bakit po na-file namin itong resolution na to, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Nabanggit po ninyo na matagal na po itong na-file, no? I think it's January of the year na i-file po siya. At nabanggit po din ninyo yung mga issues and challenges na kinaharap, no, ng ating mga kababayan, no, na sa tingin nyo ay sa palagay nyo kaya nag-udyok sa inyo para ito ay ihain. Ang tanong ko po, ito po ba ay na-raise na issue sa ating MBHTE? Itong mga issues and challenges na inyo pong shinare sa amin.
Yes, we did. In fact, even before this resolution, the MBHT has already the mapping, no? Has already the mapping of madaris in the barn. Pero hindi po ako sigurado na nakukuha nila pong lahat. Ito po, itong resolution na to will give substance to na kailangan natin magkaroon ng database so that mismo tayo mga MPs ay magkakaroon po ng listahan galing sa kanila na and on the basis of what they will come up with, makikita po natin kung may kakulangan pa, halimbawa lang the list of madrasa sa tawi-tawi. Siyempre, kung makita ko yon, i-refer ko po doon sa grupo ng mga ulama, ipakita ko, mayroon pa ba o wala, mayroon pa ba na mga madrasa hindi na isama dito. At saka dapat po dito sa database na to, dapat classified, no? Classified in the sense that these are madrasas with accredited by MBHTE. These are madrasa which are not yet accredited by MBHTE, so that ito po ay makakatulong with this information, with this database, makakatulong po ito sa advokasya natin, no, na sana lahat ng madrasa ay accredited ng MBHT. Bakit po kailangan natin ito? Pangalawa po, maliban po doon sa assistance na kailangan na ibibigay natin, hindi pa ang mga madrasa is labeled as source of terrorismo, yung mga ganong paraan. So that if these madrasa are accredited by MBHTE, legally mayroon po tayong obligasyon even to depend, kasi itong mga accredited madrasa na to, ang curriculum po nila ay galing po sa MBHTE na.
Maraming salamat sa inyong komprehensibong sagot, Mr. Speaker. Ngayon, base po sa inyong paglalahad ay itong resolution ay may objective na ihikayat yung ating ibang mga existing madrasa na magpa-accredit po sa MBHTE.
I agree
yes,
po, Mr. Speaker.
Ngayon po sa tinutukoy po ninyo dito sa Madrasa Database Management System, ano po ba ang nilalaman nitong database system na ito?
Alam po natin na maski doon sa BEC, Bangsamoro Education Code, di ba mayroon tayo, ano yung mga madrasa dito? Dito sa Maguindanao, yung hindi madrasa ang tawag natin doon. Turil, okay? So ito rin po, pati yung mga turil na existing natin, ay mayroon din po tayong data doon, di ba? Because ang pino-point out natin dito when we drafted the BEC was isama natin ang turil. Recognize natin ang turil. Pero ang MBHT ba ay kasama ba sa kanilang database ang mga turil na existing turil dito? That I do not know. Okay? So with this resolution, parang magiging obligado po. With this resolution, magiging obligado po ang MBHTE na mailalagay nila po itong mga, sabihin ko na, no, generally, ang mga Islamic education institutions po.
Palitan ko lang po, so ano po ang mga nilalaman nitong database management system, Mr. Speaker? Yun po yung gusto kong makita, ito po ba ay na-access ng publiko or ito po ba ay database lang exclusive for MBHT, Mr. Speaker?
Alam niyo po, ang data ay pwede po yan, diba, sa digitalization. Whatever, most often, including po sa information on, halimbawa, itong madaris na to, ilang teachers mayroon sila, ilang estudyante mayroon sila, okay? At para sa akin po, depende po dito sa atin, no? It may even help if the public can access to this. Bakit po 'yon dapat maka-access? Halimbawa, kung ang isang bata ay nag-aaral sa tawi-tawi ng up to elementary lang, walang high school doon na madrasa sa tawi-tawi, makita nila ay meron pala doon sa Cotabato, mayroon po doon sa Sulu, mayroon po doon sa Basilan, at pwede po kayo mag-aral doon. So para sa akin po, we would encourage MBHT to para ma-access po, no, to make this information accessible to the public po.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker, sa iyong pagpapaliwanag. Maganda po na magkaroon po talaga tayo ng database management system. And we are hoping po, Mr. Speaker, that the public can also access the database, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, let me I was corrected, no, by one of the MPs. Mayroon po tayong tinatawag na data privacy law, okay? So even in making this accessible, we are also guided with the data privacy law. Okay.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, kaya ko po yun na itanong dahil ang mga database management system ay meron po talagang kumbaga security kumbaga measure no para protektahan yung data. Kaya ako po na itanong kung ito po ba ay may sasububol ko. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, yun lang po ang aking mga katanungan at I'm looking forward po na this is going to materialize, inshallah, the soonest possible time. And I am manifesting myself to be part of this resolution, Mr. Speaker.
The manifestation, Mr. Speaker, is approved, Mr. Speaker.
Floor leader.
Sis, meron kang ano?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that we terminate the period of interpellation.
The period of interpellation debate is now terminated.
I move that we also dispense with. I move that we open the period of amendment, Mr. Speaker.
There's now a motion to open the period of amendment. Seconded. Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
1 minute suspension, Mr. Speaker.
1 minute suspension.
Nice MP Jam Ramos for amendments.
The lady from SGA, Maguindanao and Lanao del Sur is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have proposed amendments. My first amendment is on the third whereas clause. This whereas clause gives more in-depth definition of the Madrasa Database Management System. And it is read as follows.
Basahin.
Okay, I will read it, Mr. Speaker. Whereas the Madrasa Database Management System, or MDBS, is designed to systematically monitor and assess the developmental progress and current status of all madrasa within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. The MDBS will provide comprehensive data in the enhancement of madrasa educational quality, Mr. Speaker.
Accepted, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Secretariat, take note.
I'll proceed with the second proposed amendment on the fifth whereas clause. And it's here, it's there flashed on the screen, whereas the MDBS encourages the non-registered madrasa to officially register under MBHTE Madaris, period. Registration ensures their inclusion as recipients of priority government assistance, educational programs, and quality assurance initiatives under the MBHTE Madaris education system, promoting equal opportunities for all madrasa, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, accepted with a modification instead of under with. Madrasa to officially register with MBHT Madaris.
The counter proposal is accepted, Mr. Speaker. My third proposed amendment is on the sixth whereas clause. And it says there, whereas the MDBS shall serve as a foundational tool for conducting research on the status of madrasa, ensuring they adhere to educational standards. This comprehensive monitoring system will help prevent the potential misuse of madrasa as platform for fostering violent extremism, promoting a secure and inclusive educational environment, Mr. Speaker.
Accepted, Mr. Speaker.
And the last proposed amendment is to insert a resolve further clause. And it says, resolve further, forward a copy of this resolution to the Ministry of Basic, Higher, and Technical Education for consideration and appropriate action, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, accepted with a minor modification after MBHT does director does ano yun? Director kama or does ba yun? Director General for Madaris Education. Yun lang po ang amendment to the amendment na proposed.
I accept the counter proposal. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for accepting my proposed amendment.
Thank you, Interpolator. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary, take note.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize MP Ali Babaw.
The gentleman from Lanao del Sur is recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Floor Leader, Mr. Speaker. Simple lang po ang aking amendment. I would like to propose, because during the deliberation, Mr. Speaker, it was made mention about drill as also a very important educational organization, establishment in the Muslim Ummah. So I would like to propose an amendment if the proponent will agree that right after the word madrasa to include a two-word, madrasa and turil sa title. Because, Mr. Speaker, madrasa and turil are two different systems in the promotion of Arabic education. Kasi ang turil stay in, pero madrasa hindi. Umuwi yung mga bata at saka mga teachers. While ang turil, doon sila kumakain, doon sila natutulog, at hindi nawala ng uwian. So if the proponent will agree to my proposed amendment to include, and would like to read the proposal, a resolution urging the Ministry of Basic, Higher, and Technical Education plus Madaris Education to establish a madrasa and turil database management system. Just to add two words, and turil.
Mr. Speaker, accepted with modification to be consistent with BEC. Ang sa Bangsamoro Education Code, ang gamit po natin doon hindi turil kundi takfijur Quran. Takfijur Quran. Yun po ang turil na ginamit.
Yeah, whatever is going to be the wording that you are going to propose, I would like to suggest include this turil, kasi popularly known in the Bangsamoro homeland, in all the Muslim community, because for the information of the speaker, of our colleagues, in Lanao del Sur alone, we have 220 turil sa Lanao del Sur alone. Nung nag-survey po kami doon, yung mga stats na nag-survey sila, who are also seeking for our assistance, nag-report po sila 220 turil ang madrasa. So yun lang po ang aking proposal at medyo, I don't know whether, I think the proponent is agreeable. Instead of Turil, he changed the wording tawi-tawi. How would you pronounce that? The gentleman from Tawi-tawi?
Tahfidz Al-Quran.
Tahfidz Al-Quran. So that means Turil.
Yes, yes po.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
That was deliberated talaga sa BEC, no? Okay.
Maraming salamat po.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Interpolator. At saka hindi lang po doon sa title, no? Pati na doon sa body, doon sa final whereas.
Sir, Mr. Speaker, dinagdag natin yung dalawang yung sa title that will include sa lahat doon sa body ng resolution.
Apo, thank you po.
Mr. Speaker, with that, I move that we terminate the period of amendment.
There's now a motion from the floor to terminate the period of amendment. Seconded, hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve proposed resolution number 157 as amended and subject to style.
There's a motion to approve proposed resolution number 157, subject to style. Seconded, hearing no objection, the proposed resolution is approved and adopted by the BTA.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There being no other items in the order of business, I move that we adjourn until 1:00 p.m. tomorrow.
Session is adjourned until 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.